Well, it's not often I do my welcome to this video in the dark, but that's what I'm doing tonight. I've arrived in Faro, which is in Portugal on the coast. So I did arrive a couple of hours ago, but I've just been relaxing in the hostel and yeah, I did have a beer. So thanks for joining this video, and I'm going to be in Portugal, I think, for a while. So this video will start here in Faro, and who knows where it ends. But thanks for joining me, and stick around because I'm sure I'm going to have a good time. So I had a nice evening wander around, checked out the port, and then found a perfect place for a great salad. Then next morning I was off exploring. So I'm just going to go and have a look inside this church behind me here. It was in my notes, it said, oh, we've got the bells going. It said that there was a chapel made out of bones. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but I'm going to go and have a look and see what it actually is like. So yeah, come on with me. My first actual thing apart from housekeeping chores in Faro. Yeah, I've been housekeeping. I went to Lidl and I went to Decathlon and did a little bit of shopping in preparation for the Camino that I'm going to be doing in a week. Well, I can't complain about the price of coming in here. It was just €2, which is fine by me. Look at that, just the depth of that, all that gold work. And just keeps going back and back. And then over here is what I've really come for, which is the Chapel of Bones. My bones take me back to a preacher in a verse where they've seen me at my worst, to the love I had at first. Oh, I wanna go to church. Trying to walk on my own, but I'm wound up lost. Now I'm making my way to the foot of the cross. It's not a trophy for the winners, it's a shelter for the sinners, and it's right where I belong. Take me back to the place that feels like home, to the people I can depend on, to the faith that's in my bones. Take me back. Okay, so that church and chapel were fairly interesting, but let me tell you a little bit about Faro. As I've been wandering around, couldn't be more different from Seville. Lots and lots and lots of apartment blocks when I got away from the hostel, and it's like an old city. It just feels old and earthy, and I think I said that before about some other city, can't remember what it was. But it's sort of quite nice to walk around. There is lots and lots of British tourists here. They just sort of, I think they come down here when the weather starts turning bad up in the UK. So that's sort of fairly interesting too. But I've got a few things planned for today and I'll share them with you as I go. Just notice there's behind me here, there's another rather nice church. Of course, like Spain, you know, there's a lot of Roman Catholics here and like much of Europe, so really nice to wander around and look in some of these old buildings. And getting nearer to the old town, there's, you know, there are still apartment buildings. You can see one at the end of the street, but lots and lots of small buildings, private residences. There's quite a few hotels and hostels because it's coastal and got nice climate. It's part of the Algarve area, so this is a very popular area for tourists all year round. And now, while it's still warm down here, it's quite cold up north. So this is the beautiful waterfront of Faro, and yeah, the marina. So it's actually a really warm day. It's warmer than I thought it would be, which is just nice. It's not hot, a cool breeze. So going into the old part of the city now. I love the ceiling on this gate entrance. Very cool. And a little bit of history there. So yeah, look at all those bricks. It's pretty. It's actually hillier than a lot of the cities I've been into, but that certainly adds actually to the atmosphere. And yeah, funny little cobblestones. Oh, I like cobblestones. Oh, what a pretty town square this is, and it's got the church that I'm going to go into in the centre. Hopefully it's not closed like the Maritime Museum was closed for lunchtime. And there's the cathedral, a little plainer from the outside than a lot I've been into, but I'm not sure if you can see the people at the top, but I'm planning on going up there. So another huge, huge church. Not as huge as the Gothic one that I went to in Seville, but this mosaics are a bit unusual for in a church. I like them, a lot more simple than the very involved gold. And this is pretty cool that I can come up to the balcony, get an up close to the organ, and it's hard to believe all beautiful sounds come out of just that. Wouldn't it be magic to be here when they were playing? Wow, I just climbed up the tower. It's not very high, but man, it's worth it. Look at that, all those wetlands. Like, I don't know how much it changes when the tide comes in. But I'm going to go out there on the boat today. There's 3 different places that the boat stops. So that'll be pretty cool. And then looking at the other way, this is inland. And there's just as many wetlands. And yesterday coming here on the bus, we did cross a few areas of wetlands. So it's an interesting place. I actually really like it here. It's got this like just relaxed, chilled out feeling. So that's pretty cool. I found out that this is actually a proper walled city that you can walk along the top of the wall. Now I haven't had that in a while. In fact, maybe not since, was it Chester in England? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like walking on the tops of walls. So I think this whole area is being restored. There's a whole lot of work being done. Yeah, and redoing the walls. Like, that's obviously an original wall coming down. It's pretty cool through here, I like it. And up there is the wall that I was on, and straight ahead. And now I'm going for a nice little wander on the outside of the wall. So I've been inside the wall, on top of the wall, and now I'm going outside the wall, and I'll probably go back into the old town up here somewhere. And yep, I'm going back into the old city. So this has been here since 1249, and now there doesn't seem to be any shops or Medina type thing like was in Morocco. There's just restaurants, old buildings, and I think people live in here. So yeah, quite different. I'm sure with all the renos that they're doing, that something will happen here in the near future. So the planes have just been pouring in here. I'd say about every 15 to 20 minutes another plane arrives. So coming past these places, they don't look anything from the outside, but I think behind those doors there's probably some very lovely apartments. And I think the British actually are coming down here, and maybe people from other countries, and buying up these places. And give it a few years, I think it'll be full of Airbnbs, and the property will be very expensive, but I don't think it is just now. So sitting here in the wind waiting for my boat, and it might have just arrived. I better get off the step. But I think I'm going to go on that boat, which is not what I planned. It's quite small. So it's the right company. And yeah, who would have thought that I'd be going on a Zodiac? Well, not really sure, but we'll see in a minute. So crikey, yes, I'm on this yellow Zodiac and I'm at the front. I should have brought my coat. ride actually has 3 stops. This is the first one, but I'm not going to get off here. I'm going to get off the way back. So it'll be interesting to see when I come back here a couple of hours later how much the tides come up, and we'll be higher up against this set of stairs. So next up is Faro, also the lighthouse, so that's where I'm going to get off. It looks really pretty from this side of the boat. So here I am on the Faro township. Now I didn't mention that this whole area right from the coast of Faro is actually a national park. So it's all being preserved on this area in Faro. So don't get muddled up with Faro, where I'm staying, and Faro, where I'm visiting on the boat. This area, as I was saying, is mainly holiday accommodation. Now it's pretty quiet now because it's the end of the holiday season. So the weather's starting to change. There's still people around, but not as many as there would be like August and September, because now we're into the second week of October. Always love what you find around the corner on an island. This is obviously all beach trash. So yeah, it's good what people do. Like, yes, it's still trash, but at least they're doing something arty with it. Now we're heading to the lighthouse just behind there, but I'm doing like a little skirt around the island. So it's a beautiful bit of coastline, very rocky with a beautiful sandy shores. And out there, well, it's sort of Africa, but if you go slightly north of Africa, there's actually South America. And yeah, the Atlantic Ocean, so not particularly warm, I'm thinking. And it's a very practical looking lighthouse, and I think there's curtains in the windows down there, so I'd say that people are living in it. Well, I was going to walk up to the next town, the fishing village of Calatra, and it did show a track on my map, but when I went and checked it out, it's actually deep sand. That's not something that I really like doing. I don't know, walking in sand. It's a lot of hard work, unless it's hard sand. So I'm just going to stay on Faro and look around. Yep, definitely just lots of houses. A couple of the cafes are open, but a lot of them are closed. So I'll walk around here and then I'll get the boat again up to the place I just mentioned. Gosh, I forgot that really quick, didn't I? At this time I've got the whole boat to myself. Just me and the driver. And he's that. And just as well I had a chance to chat to him, because discovered that the boat I was going to get back from my last spot actually is no longer running, because they're no longer on the summer schedule. They're on the winter schedule. So just as well I checked, right? And look at those people, and there's a big queue. I don't know if you saw it right along the jetty. A big queue of people, so you can imagine what it's like in summertime if there's that many people now. Way much more fun being on the Zodiac. So this is my second stop at Calatra, and this is where all the fishermen are, so we'll see how many places are open selling fish. Apparently there's lots, but I don't know now that the season's sort of finished. This part of the island definitely is much more developed, and there's people who live here permanently. You can tell that. There's electricity here as well, and yeah, quite a different feel to it. But there again, it's very quiet now. But yeah, way more locals here wandering around than what there is people like me, tourists or travellers. So this part of the island is quite different. There's this big boardwalk that I'm following. There's lots of signs about being eco and sustainable, and I've taken a few photos of those which I'll add to this video. So yeah, it's it is good to stop at all the stops and just have a look. And this one, I've noticed quite a few little birds and a couple of tiny little rodents, which I haven't been able to film, but I know that they're there, which is great. I had to chuckle at the sign for the toilets, but yeah, this is where I was. This is when I went out to the beach, and these are the signs with regards to cycling and not dropping litter. And this is where the boardwalk brought me. It's like a beach resort, but there's actually just one little coffee bar there, and surf lifesavers, which is really good. And yes, it's a guarded beach, as the sign says. And heading back, this is the view over the boardwalk. And yeah, it's really nicely done. And that built up area below the hill, that's actually Faro, where I'm staying. So this is a rather interesting area on the fisherman's end of the island. It's these are obviously fishing huts that have been here for a very long time, and yeah, I think they've been collecting things. Looks like they also do some mussel growing here. Those are the sort of net things that they use. Yeah, and people are working down here. Like this chap over here. Yeah, but it's pretty quiet. Not sure what they do with their catches, or maybe they just go away in the winter. So this is my last stop, and I've got an hour here. If I'm not back to get the ferry in an hour, I'll have to spend the night here or pay about €75 to get back to Faro. So an hour's more than enough to do the walk around the point. So here I go. And yeah, it is getting cooler. It's 5:20, so you know, it won't be sunset, but it'll be nice. So the interesting thing about this bit of land is this is the most southerly point of Portugal, and they call it a tree. Well, I guess it once was, right? Now it's got lots of decoration. So I was of two minds whether to walk back along the beach, seeing as I came on the boardwalk, but it's quite loose sand and I don't want to miss that last boat. So, decision made, I'm going back on the boardwalk. Yes, and I feel very comfortable that I made the decision to come back the way I went. It's really pretty this time of night. The lighting's really lovely. So if I'd had more time, and the reason I don't have more time is actually the timetable at the hostel was the out-of-date one. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I would have had another hour. It's a bit unfortunate, but c'est la vie. So, perfect time to be heading back. Well, that was an amazing day and a half in Faro, and I had such a good time, and I managed to squeeze in so many things. I can't believe it just looking back at my video. But yeah, lots and lots of fun and well worth exploring. It was a beautiful port town and the hostel was really good. And I also met a lovely girl called Melissa at the hostel, and we went out for a delicious snapper dinner. We had so much fun, and I hope we keep in touch. Anyway, thanks for watching my video, and until next time, bye for now.